Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. We're live on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. Alan Ruff is here and Tam Cowan as well. Isn't it amazing? He always tries to tell a long story just as the titles are going
and it's
up.
Invariably, as that one was a cracker involving luminaries. I'll tell you all the names involved in that story. Graham Souness, Willie Miller, Kenny Dalglish, Mo Johnston and Jock Stein.
Yeah.
And he got right up to the punchline and then we started the show.
Yeah, you do that all the time. Ruffy, we're going to start because I mentioned it on Facebook, but Andy, who is my pal, works in Tesco, one of the boys local from the village, and he gave me this the other week there. He said, I've got a pristine condition Scotland World Cup We Have a Dream single, 7-inch single, and it really is in great nick, Ruffy. The words are on the back, the picture, you're there, and there's a jumper there, Ruffy, which you've just told me you actually still have that jumper.
I still got it in my drawer. It was a promotional jersey we got for going. It was a Pringle, it was, and I've still got it in a bottom drawer in my room.
Have you put that on?
Wear it. I could wear it tomorrow if you wanted me to.
Wow, that's
7-inch and single is two of the details in my fake Tinder account.
Say that again.
I said 7-inch and single as two of the details on my fake Tinder account. It's bad when you need to repeat the jokes, it really is.
But do you know the funny thing is, I thought to myself, as he talked, and then I realised you were on, you've started early. Anyway, Ruffy, it's great. And by the way, Andy forgot, what he didn't realise is he said to me, look Peter, the autographs are in there. But as I pulled out the autographs, I look on the back and it says, love you Caroline, kiss, 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 kiss. So 5 kisses in there. Clearly an ex-girlfriend. Andy thought to himself, to hell with it, I'll give it to Peter. It's worth a bit.
Tam, you gave me a gold disc for that.
I did.
Remember?
In the programme, did Scotland's Jukebox.
Yes.
I think that's what it was called.
Gold disc, yeah.
And I was
you got that up on the wall?
It's up on the wall in the hall, yeah.
Yep.
Magic.
And I was brought in to talk about some of the great singles and stuff, and every representative of the Scotland squad that took part in one of the World Cup anthems got their kind of nice wee souvenir thing, I thought.
Oh yeah, it's on the wall.
And can I ask you this, Sam, you've got to be honest about it. Is that for you the best Scotland?
You know what?
World Cup
It's I've got 2 World Cup songs on my Spotify. Now you know in my Spotify I've got James Last, I've got George Formby, I've got Duran, I've got very, very wide eclectic tastes, okay?
Yeah.
A wee bit of Pavarotti, a wee bit of jazz, etc. But the 2 World Cup songs that I've got on it are Ali's Tartan Army by Andy Cameron and We Have a Dream by the 82 squad. And that always just nudges it for me. That's, you know, I love Andy Cameron and I love that single, and it certainly wasn't Andy's fault that we get rumped at the 78 World Cup.
No.
But all the stories about Andy having a loft full of these singles after the first kind of terrible game in that group are probably true. But that one is haunting. That gets the goosebumps going.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got John Gordon Sinclair to record a happy birthday message to the big man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I grafted for you there, Ruffy. Thanks to Martin Carrick, who says, we all remember the classic Don't Come Home Too Soon, which I think is going down as the worst Scotland song of all. I know Justin Curry won't thank me for it, but I think it's the worst. I think of the top 3 Scotland World Cup songs, Ruffy, We Have a Dream is number 1. I agree with you. Second one is probably Ali's Tartan Army with Andy Cameron. And the third one for me, I don't know if you agree with me, is Yabba Dabba Doo by the Scotland 1974 World Cup squad.
Can I be very, very controversial?
You can Rod Stewart?
No, you can ask me to leave if you want.
Yeah.
The very best international football anthem, I think, in terms of real toe tapper and getting you going, is Back Home by the England squad.
The 1970
Yeah. Back home, you'll be
I like the Rod Stewart one.
Yeah, the Rod Stewart one was a good one as well.
Whatever it's called.
But that bit is probably the only bit of it that really I don't like. We're going to bring the World Cup back from all of that.
How about the Crankies? We're going to Spain. We're going to Spain. That was 82 as well. And that got kind of overshadowed by
surprisingly,
Graham Souness, Ruffy, etc.
Absolutely. Anyway, listen, lots to talk about. Want to get into the meat and bones of it because tonight, quite simply, it's Rangers against Red Star Belgrade. We'll talk about Dundee St Mirren a little later on, but certainly tonight Rangers Red Star Belgrade, Ruffy, big chance, and I think Rangers now know that if they can get past Red Star Belgrade, £1.5 million in the kitty, and then after that you can start to see a clear pathway of the clubs that they might face.
Yeah, well, whoever decided at Rangers that to give the past managers money, because European football is where they're going to start bringing money into the club. You know, I think they saw that was the avenue to get themselves back in a financial footing, and that has come true. You know, whatever they've invested in, they're now clawing in the money, and the further and further they go, the more money they'll get.
Yeah, this is not going to be an easy one. There's been a wee bit of what I would call boxings, before the match as well. A wee bit of sledging, as they say in cricket, and of course some bad mouthing.
Aye, but that's part and parcel. You very, very rarely, Peter, get a Scottish team going in against European opposition without the back page of the papers mentioning one of the opposition players as cocky. Cocky Red Star Belgrade player says, cocky this player says, and that always happens. I'm just hoping, as I say, this is just the first leg, right? So nothing will be decided tonight, and I just hope, as much as you now for the past year, couple of years have lured me in to watching some European football, it doesn't involve Scottish teams. I'm just fearful that, having caught last night's game with Real Madrid and PSG, I hope the standards don't drop too dramatically tonight, because that was something else last night. The last 20 minutes in that game, did you watch it last night? Yeah. It was absolutely brilliant. It was just great.
Here's a question for you, which is sticking in my head right now, because you are prone to it on a Thursday, right? Which is quite simply, we have a kind of a running order of things that we have a kind of
us sitting on the couch having a blare.
I know, but I wondered if your radio show, you just go all over the place.
Yes,
you do.
I've never. I can let you into a secret. In 28 years of doing off the ball, there's a kind of a running order that Stuart and Stuart only gets. Yeah. And that's basically just for timings and that, if we need to go and play on a trail for something or that. Yeah. I have never had one of those in 28 years. I have never pressed a button. You and your time have had to do on Star Trek Enterprise stuff, haven't you? And I've never had to do that.
Is that right?
So you just sat, and I always think that certainly in radio, particularly because when the audience can't see you, I think it should come across, particularly if you're broadcasting over the weekend, as we do, as if it's just guys maybe even sitting in the pub and, chewing the fat about what's been happening in the football. I think that's the best way. Yeah. It's 2 minutes formalised. You know what I hate? And I'm no, the BBC will be guilty of it, of course, but I hate when it's like, maybe talking about this game tonight, and you can own up to this as well, so talk this game tonight. Okay, and let's turn now to Celtic, and it's, you know what I mean? Yeah. I just like it when it's more chatty.
Although we do have a running order, we do have that element of chat, but usually when you come in, you just throw a grenade in and then scattergun the whole thing.
Well, you know what, it's not too formal, because within a few moments you'll start just typing up anyhow and replying to trolls and all that, and me and Ruff are saying, what's he doing? So,
but you don't appreciate how much we work before for the running order.
Exactly. Well, I know that you're in here for 8:30 every morning.
Here's the classic line on it, and I can really kind of empathise with Stuart. Yeah. I do like that. When I was at Radio Clyde, I was in control of the Starship. I like that feel of being in control and knowing when you're going, especially if it's a programme where there's goals and games and reporters waiting. So that's why it was formalised. But obviously, because I like that control, I thought to myself, when Bonzo comes in, I wonder what he will offer.
Yes.
As far as the contribution. Now, you, and without underselling yourself, you do a lot of preparation. You've got sheets of stuff where you think, I can jam that gag in there, and I can do this and that. You do a lot of preparation. On the other hand, in total contrast, there's nothing.
But that's nothing. Fine. But he's got the medals. He's been at the World Cups.
Exactly.
We've not done that.
Aye, absolutely.
And the songs.
And the songs as well, Ruffy.
That is actually, you know what, I don't really need to upset your running order more by going away to where we started, but that actually is what you see when you say pristine condition. Yeah. We should almost have the wee white gloves on to kind of hold it. That is wonderful.
It is. I
think you should get in tow. I mean, unless you're looking to make money off it yourself, I think the boys, maybe Jed or Richard down at the Hampden Museum, I think they would like a wee look at that.
Yeah, we can get a wee look at it. They're not getting it. Honestly, I'm moving away from him over this end. I was waiting for him saying, let's do a competition. I was going to go away and take a flying to yourself. Anyway, apart from anything else, this one tonight, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. I think it's not arrogance. I think it has an air of confidence about Rangers getting a good result.
We want to be in the next round. We are working hard and preparing well, as we did in the last previous games, to be ready for tomorrow. And I have full confidence we can have a good result. But Europe, every game is tough. So we do everything possible to make sure we can go into the next round.
Yeah, so I think when you look at things here as far as the game's concerned, I mean, I could quote all sorts of statistics about previous meetings. Matters not a jot. Quite simply, he's got the players there, Ruffy, Lundstrom, Morelos and Sakala, one booking away from a suspension. But I think it's just everything has got to be to try and get that confident performance, everybody giving their all to get a lead. With no away goals, doesn't matter. Just make sure you score more than the opposition.
No, they have to do what they have been doing in the last couple of years. They have to up their game for the SPL games, because they haven't been, at the same kind of form. Once they go into Europe, they seem to up their game, and certain players up their game as well. And I think that's what they've been doing for the last couple of years, and they'll have to do the same again tonight. You don't want to be overconfident. We know Borussia Dortmund were possibly one of the favourites for it, and they beat them quite comfortably. But you have to take every team differently, and this team have got a wee bit of pedigree, not as much as Borussia Dortmund. They won their group stage, sitting top of their league, so they're in form. I think they won 5-0 at the weekend, so Rangers will have to be top notch tonight to get something out of this.
Yep, I think the only doubt I would have about Rangers tonight is complacency. They've got to watch for that. I hope they don't think that because they have beaten Borussia Dortmund that that Red Star Belgrade aren't going to be any great shakes. But again, I think they should just approach it like a home game in the league. They're going to, sorry for trotting out the cliches, but Ibrox will be absolutely rammed tonight. Big midweek game under the floodlights, be a great atmosphere. And again, with the thing about still a strange thing I've not got used to, Peter, the old away goals thing. No, really coming into play. So because of that, I think they just go out there and they get steamed in and see what happens, knowing in the back of their minds that their away form in Europe has been more than decent. Yeah,
I have a confidence about this Rangers side at home, Ruffy. I think they're going to win this one 2-1, and I also feel confident they can go through over the two legs. But I'm going to go 2-1 for Rangers to win it.
Yeah, I would be a lot more confident with 2-0. As Tam's right, when they go away from home, they do put on a good show, but it's usually the first game. You know what I mean? It's
That's
usually the first game, so
right.
It depends on how the game goes and how you approach the second leg. Because if you're only 1-0 up or whatever, I think that they're good at. I think Aribo and Kamara, if he plays, are European style players, and they're the ones, and obviously Morelos up front.
Have they got a full strength team, Peter?
Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah, I think, Ramsey's not playing, but Ramsey's only kicked a ball for about 98 minutes, so I don't think that's relevant to it. I think you're looking, you're saying to yourself, it's a game where you want Kent to cause havoc, because I think that boy has got all the talent. I don't know if he's the type of boy that if I was Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, I'd be taking him to the side all the time and saying, listen, you can destroy teams. Go out there, son, and show this whole crowd what the game of football is all about.
Have him bursting with confidence.
Yes.
And have him that's Giovanni Van Bronckhorst that put his arm around me, tell me I'm great. I'm going to go out and do it for him,
Yeah.
That's what they need. But no, the final seal of approval will give that game tonight, because that's great. We're in March, we've got a Scottish team still in a kind, if you like, a proper European competition. So that's one for the booze of the night. I'll enjoy a wee tincture somewhere and watching that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing about it, Ruffy, let's be honest about it. If we look at these games and call them, and that's the joy of people who are joining us and finding out we're on YouTube all the time, is we've got all sorts of different panellists who join us and give us their opinion and all that. But if we thought Rangers were not going to win tonight and the other team was too good, we would say, because we'll give you an opinion, some might not like it. I'm going to read this one out. I've got to read this one out because this is a line from someone who has basically said, Kevin, who says, if Rangers were playing Brazil, Peter would go 2-1 Rangers. now,
I'll tell you, Brazil have been a bit wobbly.
Yeah,
They're not the team they once were.
do you know what? There are things that I love about this feed. You cannot be pro one side without the other side giving you a kicking.
Aye.
It's just an absolute. It's a joy at times. There are some people who are just, you need to send them away somewhere because they're not right in the head. But there are other people who I absolutely love that just come out with things that you think, really, I think Rangers can win it. There's some people, obviously, who are confident about
Kevin to come back on tomorrow. You'll be in the hot seat tomorrow, Peter. And, if Rangers have been scudded by Red Star Belgrade, let Kevin come on and have a wee chuckle. But if Rangers win handsomely, get Kevin back on with a polite apology.
Yes, absolutely. Kevin, we wait and wonder. Hugh Scott, who's a regular for us and watches the programme on a daily basis, he says, Peter, I'd settle for 1-0 tonight. Yeah, that's the...
Absolutely.
I like the fact that away goals don't count double, Ruffy. I know the thing I've noticed about you is you've started to come up with all sorts of theories about midweek games put up difficult results. Now it's because Rangers are playing at home first. I think in this sort of thing, because of the way Rangers are played at times away from home as well, I'm thinking to myself, this is a real chance for them to win home and away. I don't think this is the Red Star team of old. Good side that they are. I hope the one thing about Serbian sides is they're always technically gifted. But I just hope they don't have, the great players of the past suddenly coming through again.
No, but we have to look at their form. I mean, they're second top of the league, as I said there, and they won their group with Braga, and I think it was what they called Lugengrants or something like that. Ludogorets. They beat them, and they've been in the Champions League, so they're not going to be any mugs. But it's up Rangers at home, that 50-odd thousand supporters, right behind them, and they've got players in there. I think the away goal's only good when you are away from home in the first leg and you get a couple of goals.
Yeah.
Then you can work on it. But it's out the window now, so if they lose a goal, I hope they have a two-goal advantage.
Yeah, I'm with you, says Ronnie. He says 2-1 to Rangers. So lots of people have. James Lindsay says 4-1 Rangers. I think if it's 4-1 James, the roof will come off that place. But nevertheless, big one, big call. It'll be bouncing. I tell you one thing, with football, you sample all different levels of it, and I know exactly the level that we witness on a regular basis in Scottish football. But last night, I decided just out of curiosity, what's your Rangers score tonight?
I think Rangers can win 2-0 tonight.
2-0? 2-0, okay.
And I'm in fire on it.
Yeah, you are.
Imagine we not putting a line on last week in the Predictor. That was, I get 4 out of 6 correct results.
Can I just say something to Tam before I talk about Dundee St Mirren? What was the feeling like when you realised you had 4? You had 4 out of the 6. You'd nailed the correct score. What was that feeling like in your mind when you looked and you went, I've done this? The
feeling was sick that I hadn't put a bet on with the bookies, because if I'd put on the 6 correct scores as a kind of, a lucky 61, a lucky whatever it might have been, that'd have been serious dough for getting 4 of them spot on.
You are aware now that you're back in the running.
I'm back in the running, but I'm still bottom of the league, let's be honest.
We're talking points now, we're not talking the abyss.
I think actually, if young Gabe, who worked in the show, if he had only been caught pilfering in the office much earlier and you'd have dismissed him earlier, then I might have had a wee bit more time in my hands to catch up. But obviously that incident didn't happen too much later on, and that's where you go out the door. And I commend you for it.
His mum and dad will be raging.
But no, it's getting very tight now, the wee group, and then we've got how many weeks in effectively to go? We've got 6 fixtures. 6 or 7. I think I can still. And it's the bottom. It's the bottom. It's to pick up the tab for everybody else for a night out.
Bottom takes everybody else out, pays for the meals, and it's starter, main course, suite, and the wine.
Okay.
But you're back in it. And the point I'm making is, if you hadn't been such a what's the word I'm looking for?
A tube.
Yes, there's a good line.
Motherwell.
You hadn't been such a tube with Motherwell. And if you hadn't been such a tube early on when you're going, I think I'll go no all the time. You could have, now that you've got the buzz for it, you're in the running.
Yes, I put Motherwell. What I did, I just enjoyed the buzz of the old grandstand video printer last week because I had Motherwell 6, Dundee 1 as my prediction. And then when I texted it around every day, I of course put 6 then brackets, SIX, close bracket.
Yeah.
Give me a wee buzz. Made me feel that.
We'll be able to tell this Friday when the predictions come in how much he's grasped the concept.
Oh, no.
When we see the Motherwell prediction.
Yeah, he's on it, by the way. He's on it. Listen, can I just say something? Well done to Marlon Brando's eyes, who says he's just encapsulated it all brilliantly. Gabriel, the Clyde 1 defector. There he is. That's what happens, Ruffy. You kiss the badge and then boom, you're out the door.
Yeah, but we have to say that we try to keep that thing quiet and
We did.
just let it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a Rolex.
Nobody can
Right, it was a Casio.
None of us can afford a Rolex anyway. Apart from anything else, Gabriel was the top boy, and he's going to go on to be a superstar. But as soon as you kiss the badge,
Company night out?
no,
He's
beat
not
it.
coming.
No, he is actually. He is. I've got him a
Has he
going away
come?
present for God's sake. It's ticking as we speak. So.
What, the watch?
So anyway, last night, oh God,
Why did you go?
I thought to myself, well, you know what it's like, because I think if you are 30 years in the game as a journalist, you want to go and cover football, and I like going and watching other teams.
Right,
I don't
okay.
like this whole, it's Celtic and Rangers all the time. I like to go and see other teams so you get a better grasp of their strengths and weaknesses and good players. It's the only game on the card. Dundee desperately need a win. St Mirren need a win because Stephen Robinson's in the door and he wants to obviously try and get something. So I thought, I'm going to drive up to Dundee and watch this game. Oh, honestly, the first half was murder. It was terrible. The only thing that was good about it was the St Mirren fans who sang their heart out from minute 1 to the 90th minute. They were absolutely brilliant. And there was one great song where they sang, I want to go home. Dundee is a whole, I want to go home. And a guy in the stand for Dundee says, you're from Paisley, for God's sake. Have a long hard look at yourself. But Dundee, unless they get the players back that are out, big job for Mark McGee. St Mirren, on the other hand, I thought had the best chances and really looked the part. And I'll tell you who looked the part that I really liked, Tam.
Who?
The boy in the left-hand side winger, Jordan Jones.
Oh, aye.
He was good. He's got a trick and he looks as if he's in the mood again.
Well, he needs to be in the mood again because when he was, unless it's a completely different Jordan Jones you're talking about, it was, of course, the boy who was brilliant at Killie. He was absolute dynamite, went to Rangers and it just basically didn't work out, you know. And you fear for players like that. But no, the St Mirren I've only seen, I saw the goal. Again, you can imagine what a top defender, even like a goalie like Ruffy. Have you seen the goal? The space that he had, the space. There wasn't a player near him in that box, you know. But it was, so it was a decent goal. And I must say as well, if you're a St Mirren fan, and it was one such St Mirren fan, Div McDonald, who does the Pie and Bovril website, St Mirren Die Hard, I saw a few of his photos online, and it did look like a healthy St Mirren support, looked a decent Dundee support as well.
Yeah.
And you know what it's like, Peter? Fans love that. I was on here defending, and it split the crowd, shall we say, when I was defending, was it Celtic fans for running onto the pitch at Ross County?
Yeah.
You know, all I was saying that night was, and I would say it about last night's game, the fans love a last minute winner.
Oh.
If you get that, they were 3 minutes into injury time, and then when a goal that suddenly elevates you to 6th in the league, there's 1 point between, I think it's 6 teams, a cluster of teams in the middle of that league. So it was huge for St Mirren.
Yeah.
Although in fairness, I believe that Mark McGee did get a positive result yesterday though, didn't he? His first yes,
COVID.
As everybody's been saying. But, he's got a job in his hands. I think when I heard his pre-match interview at the weekend, he more or less said that he would take a playoff right now. So it seems a battle just now with Dundee and St Johnstone, who's going to fall through the trap door, and who is the other team that's hoping that by the time they play whoever it may be, that they're knackered. They've already had too many games in the pyramid. But
well, it won't be Thistle, because Thistle are going to win the league. Hold on a second, you. Because
Thistle's going to win the league, aren't
yeah,
they?
oh, absolutely. We should have heard Richard and him yesterday. They were just, you couldn't hold them back. But as far as calm your jets, I'll let you in a minute. As far as St Mirren are concerned, fair play to them. They played some good football, created most of the chances, deserved the 3 points. Although it was late on, Dundee's bench just sank down to their knees when they saw the goal going in. But Stephen Robinson's just in the door, couldn't buy a win in 4 games. Suddenly he gets that win, and he had a wee bit of tongue-in-cheek reply saying, you know, everybody thought I was a dud because I couldn't get a win. Now I'm a good manager again.
Yeah, football's a funny game, isn't it? I was a decent manager and I came back rubbish manager 5 days later. All right manager again tonight, and then it could be anything after Saturday. So it's that's why you're here. That's what football is. You know, people go home buzzing tonight with that last minute winner, and it gives us a real chance to progress on Saturday night.
Yeah, big one for them in the Scottish Cup quarter-finals. Can they cause an upset in the evening kick-off at Tynecastle against Hearts? Connor Ronan, who scored the winner last night, he reckons they can.
Yeah, obviously it's a cup game. It's a one-off game. We're obviously disappointed to lose the last game, but it was hard to judge that game. Obviously going down to 10 men, so I think it'd be good to have 11 men for the full game and see what happens. And like I said, it is a cup game and a one-off game, so hopefully we can go there and pull something out of the bag.
Yeah, they need to pull out a major shock if they can do that. You were talking about the table. Here's how the Premiership table looks now that that win there. I mean, it is unbelievably tight, Tam, isn't it?
It is, and you know, you don't know who's going to be playing for what. You know, at this stage, who is going to be top 6, who is going to be bottom 6, who, when they get into the top 6, thinks that they could still hang in there in 4th for the Europa Conference place. There's all sorts of stuff, but it's brilliant. And again, Peter, something that I've mentioned many a time on here, on the radio, we do have to give the Blazers a wee bit of credit for that time when they did introduce playoffs.
Yes.
Because it has really, really invigorated the leagues all the way down to the point you've now got, you know, Bonnie Rig Rose sitting waiting to see who they play for the Highland League, to see who gets a crack at probably Cowdenbeath, to see if they can get into senior leagues. It's fantastic, but that is a quite incredible league. Anything could happen yet. And of course, when the day split, you know, it's, as much as you're thinking it's between Dundee and St Johnstone at the bottom, but when the day split and they all start playing each other again and absolutely ferreting about for points and slitting each other's throats, still a hell of a lot of football to be played.
Yeah, I look at the bottom end of it. I can't believe Aberdeen. I don't think they're going to get. I don't think Aberdeen are going to get top 6. I can't pick between St Johnstone and Dundee, Ruffy. Both of them are just a shadow of St Johnstone, a shadow of the side they were last season.
Yeah, obviously the evidence is there, you know, but none of the two of them can grab a win. It'll be in the split when the teams that are in the bottom bit are always, you would think, nearly as good as each other. They'll think they can pick up points, but it's got to be a nervy one for some big clubs down there. It's just unthinkable that. And
the thing is, as well, Peter, all eyes for Motherwell on the game with Hibs on Sunday, Cup quarter final. You know, 90 minutes away for a Hampden semi, but you know, when we look at the league, we've been grim. We've not won a game since Boxing Day, and if you could have asked, you know, Graham Alexander to hand pick the last few fixtures, these are the ones he'd have gone for. Whereas we've been rotten, we've been really, really poor, and we could end up really down the bottom end of that league as well if we don't be careful.
Yeah, well, the flip side of that is Graham Alexander this morning mentioned the fact that there's still a chance to make it a really good season.
When we were 4th and flying, and you kept talking about the league table, and I was saying, well, it's where we are at the end, and it's still about where we are at the end, and then we can actually define what sort of season we've had. But still, the potential to have a very good season is right there in front of us, and we have the players, we have the ambition and the drive from the players, and so it's down to us to take advantage of that.
It's all about calm heads, Ruffy, surely.
It is, but obviously Tam's been there before. The players have been there before, down the bottom, you know, with the playoffs and everything. There's people can handle it, there's people can't handle it. You want a lot of experience, but the first thing is you don't want to be there. you want to say, look at that table and say, look, 2 wins, got some games coming up we could win, and a couple of wins and we could be top 6.
Aye.
Yeah.
And that's the way you've got
And
to
what a
look at it.
confidence booster it was. I mean, I would suddenly have a wee bit more confidence if, you know, if we could beat Hibs on Sunday. And you know, that won't be easy, all right. Hibs, you know, 3-0-0s within the space of a week there. But Hibs will bring through, I know that for a fact, the tickets are as good as gone. They'll bring a huge support, who'll pack out that 2-tier south stand. It's a big, big game for both clubs. But obviously I'm a Motherwell fan. If we could win that, you think, surely to goodness, that must give them a bit of confidence going into the remaining league fixtures. It can maybe get us back up the table a bit. But, you know, if we'd have taken our chances, if we'd have beaten teams that I think we should be beating, we could have been right up there in Hearts' coattails.
Yeah.
And it could have been a really good season. But the thing that, you know, Graham maybe has shied away for a wee bit, and that's what the Motherwell fans have been a bit upset about in recent weeks, Peter. The football has been dire. It's been hoofball stuff. They're missing out the midfield. You know, it's been boring to watch.
Yeah.
And that's one of the worst things you can say in football when you know how much money fans pay to watch it.
Don't worry about that. I've been there for part last week. It was dire. Here's Ian Indigari says, I've looked up the World Cup song on eBay and a good condition one like this one, Ruffy. Give us a price. How much?
I would say 250 quid.
£250 for a 7-inch for a 7-inch single from 1982.
Pristine.
Ruffy, if they were paying 250 quid for a 7-inch pristine single, I would go in and sell my entire record collection of pristine, rare 7-inch
I'm just
singles.
putting it out there to see if there's anybody interested, because I've got 10 of them.
Yeah, and
250.
What's he saying? How much?
£9.99.
Seriously, that's a nonsense.
It was 50 pence in 1982. It's not a bad increase.
40 years.
Yeah. Tenner.
Yeah.
Tenner.
All
Anyway,
the players have signed it.
it's a bog standard.
I'll give you
one,
20 quid for it right there now.
What?
I'll give you 20 quid for it right there now.
No.
Oh, come on.
No, I'm going to hang on to it.
Come on, what have I got? Have I got any money? Right, here we go. Come on. Live on air. I'll give you 20 quid.
No, would you want to tell
right
this is a David Dickinson moment, isn't it?
No, it's when Des O'Connor used to do the yes or no game.
Yes, aye.
What would you want, man? 40 quid.
25.
40 quid.
40 quid.
40 quid.
40
You would
quid.
take 40 quid right there now for
Yeah.
that.
For that, yeah.
See if they hadn't spelt Wally Carson right. You know what? I've got one in the house as well.
Yeah,
It's not in that condition.
Yeah, I was surprised I had to cut the wire on your 20s, but that was magnificent. I was tempted, Ruffy, for a minute. You had me at 40. I would have gone then. I would have gone. I'm too used to watching all those. And DPG says, Peter, what's in your record collection? Wham and the Bee Gees, Ruffy. DPG is missing the point here. It's some of the finest songs you could ever think of, rare stuff as well.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yep.
I tell you, if I gave out Stuart Cosgrove's address live on air, then any burglars who are tuned into the show, they would be heading right. His record collection is something else.
Yeah.
It is something else.
I think I give him a run for his money, by the way.
Would you, eh?
Oh, for God's sake, absolutely.
So what would be the number one record in your collection? And are we talking record, are we talking CD, are we talking single, album, what is it?
Vinyl.
Vinyl. So what would be the number one? What's the priceless one?
Well, it's all down to whether you think there's a market. The market for it. I mean, if you're talking about somebody saying, "Oh, I've got the rare original early recordings of the Beatles," then
Like the Abbey Road one,
yeah, all
people
these things, first prints, everything like that, or the White Album with a number that's really, really early. People are going to pay that. If you're talking about something that I value myself, that I think a number of people in a certain market would, I've got a minted condition, not played. I just bought it because I thought it was going to be great. Joy Division album, which is absolutely fantastic and great nick as well.
And the cover's superb, Nick.
It's in pristine condition. It opens up like a folder. So yeah, that.
See, I told you about when I was clearing out my mum's house, I had the Evel Knievel toy, right?
Yeah.
And absolutely fantastic. And a guy contacted me and says, I hope you've got the box, Tam, have you?
Yeah, you need the box.
I know. And the guy says, the Evel Knievel toy, that he said you'd get at least $2,500 for it if you'd had the box. and I didn't have the box, and the value just goes down like
well,
that.
if you have the Millennium Falcon in the box from the original 1977, you know, you'll get yourself a few quid for it. You know?
And I'm still going to keep an eye out for it on Instagram. I'm going to take Evel Knievel. Do you remember that toy, Ruffy? Right, and it was great. The way they did the Christmas TV adverts for it when I was a kid, you just thought, oh, that's amazing. I was so lucky to get it. By the way, see, before I move on, I was thinking the Christmas past toys and that. I hope it comes to me before the end of the show. Remember, we were talking about what was the name of the great sports shop in the Trongate in Glasgow?
Robert's Stores.
No, it came to me in a blinding flash last week. It's where I get like a mitre ball for my Christmas.
Yeah.
I'll come back to that. But Evel Knievel, what I'm going to do, think of this for a video on Instagram. She's going to help me out. I'm going to get, how Evel Knievel jump our double deckers and that.
Yeah.
I'm going in one of the long corridors at the BBC. I'm going to build up the ramp, and I'm going to have the lovely Judith Ralston sitting down, lying back, and I'm going to get Evel Knievel jumping over Judith.
Wow.
And we'll get that filmed. That could break the internet.
It could actually. I don't know if you've got enough elevation.
I know, I'll be a big ramp.
Yeah.
It'd have to go a fair metre.
We'll get a good ramp.
I've yet to see what's happening in Ireland from her weather reports, but nevertheless, DPG says I have the original disc of Meatloaf and a picture disc, Bad Out of Hell. That's a good one. I like that. Well done, DPG. Always good. Quarterfinals, Hearts St Mirren on Saturday, 7:45. Not happy about that time, to be honest with you. Motherwell Hibs 12:30 on the Sunday. Dundee Rangers is 4 o'clock on the Sunday, and then it's Dundee United against Celtic on the Monday. Ruffy, we've already kind of picked our 4, haven't we? Did we do that yesterday? I think we picked them. I mean, I think from my own point of view, I think Hearts will beat St Mirren.
Yes, I would agree with that.
I think it might go to penalties for Motherwell Hibs, and I'm just going to edge Hibs on it because I think Motherwell have been poor. I think they've been poor, Tam. We're not going to be
Hibs
two-faced.
have hardly been, No,
they've played some all-right football. They're just missing that cutting edge at the front end. And I think Rangers will absolutely batter Dundee because Dundee are woeful at the moment. And then I think it's going to be possibly a goal in it for Celtic at Tannadice.
All right. Well, apart from Motherwell, and I'm saying that more than hope, and then else I wouldn't really disagree with your predictions there.
Yeah, you can give us your thoughts on that as well. I'd
be more impressed if you could tell us rather than score lines about when the games are on. You'd think the Scottish Cup quarter-finals, back in the day, that's it. The 4 of them, 3 o'clock on a Saturday, bang.
Would be great.
So Motherwell's on the Sunday at 12:30.
Yes, and I say to you, Hearts
and Mirren Saturday night.
7:45.
Yeah, and then when are the other 2?
Dundee Rangers is 4 o'clock.
On Saturday?
On Sunday. And then
and Celtic Dundee United
is at night
Monday.
on the Monday. So
right.
So that's basically where you're looking forward to games all over it. But listen, you take the money when you can get it. Let me see what the exact time is. Night 7:45 on Monday for Dundee United Celtic, Ruffy. So are you going for the same 4 I'm going for?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, okay. Now, a couple other things I want to get your thoughts on, guys. We've given the prediction. We think Rangers are going to win tonight. We've been talking about a couple of clubs, one of them with John Souttar. They're still waiting for the extent of the injury. It's an maybe ankle ligament, rather than everybody suggesting it was his Achilles wrongly. But I'd like to see John back. I think he's had so many bad injuries, and I think you want to see him have a long run. I think he's a good player.
Absolutely, and I had a wee smile on my face with John Souttar recently, of course, because he was roundly booed by the Hearts fans for the minute his name was announced in first touch of the ball, I think, when he played St Johnstone.
Yep.
After he signed for Rangers, effectively, the pre-contract agreement. And, but then when he rifled in a spectacular volley just last week, lo and behold, the Hearts fans celebrated, and that's what being a football fan's all about. We are all utterly two-faced. But the thing about him signing up for that'll be the Rangers fans will be panicking about that, because that's the gamble, if you like, if you're going to sign players before they actually come to your club. You're then hoping they're going to be wrapped in cotton wool, but clearly that's not happened here.
No, Owen McGrandle says, can Tam remember a Celtic Motherwell semi-final at Hampden, Motherwell getting 2 late goals to take it to extra time? He thinks it was in the mid-80s. 2 late goals to take it to extra time.
2 late goals. No, I don't know. The spectacular semi-final in 91, the year
What happened in 91?
4-2. I don't know how the final went, but we pumped Celtic 4-2 in the semis. But no, we didn't come for 2-0 down.
Yeah.
No, maybe there might have been one back in the mid-70s. Maybe, but we didn't win that because we didn't get into the final. But no, I'm not sure the one that he's talking about.
See the one at Celtic Park when Willie Pettigrew scored 2, was that 3-1
That was a 3-2.
Was it 3-2?
Celtic Park, that was just a league game.
Yeah, that was a great game.
That was a great game,
yeah.
right. And then you had another bizarre, I wonder if you remember this, a midweek game, I think, was at Fir Park, I was just a kid, but Andy Lynch scored 2 OGs. Motherwell might have won that 3-2 as well, but 2 OGs for Andy Lynch, both for the left back position.
Yeah, Andy Lynch was a good player. I can't remember that one, Tam. Thanks very much to so many. Owen says he's sure Andy Walker scored for Motherwell in it. It's as simple as that. I'm not quite sure.
That was that a Skol League Cup
rather than a Scottish Cup.
Around about 85 maybe.
Is that what's
we had a wee flurry of them as well. We had stuff like John Phillippen hitting the bar and a penalty shootout with all sorts of stuff like that, but we never quite made it. And of course then it's true what they're saying, I've backed up my argument there, you don't always remember the beaten semi-finalists, sadly.
No, absolutely. Listen, everybody's talking about Scott Brown, where he's going to end up. Ange Postecoglou was talking about him today, and I think he said there's always going to be a place at Celtic Park for him if he's looking for it.
I don't think anyone should be any doubt that there will always be an open door here for Scott Brown. The guy's, one of the legends of this football club, will go down as one of its greatest ever. In terms of what he wants to do with his future, I think he's best placed to answer that. He's obviously made a decision right now, and then after that, it's kind of up to him to sort of chart his course.
I think lots of Celtic fans would love to see him back in some coaching capacity there, Ruffy.
Yeah, he's a legend. I mean, the stats there, everything he's won and everything he's done. He is the kind of player you would want to be about the place. It just depends on what you're going to offer him. I think he's too good to be under 18s, looking after them kind of thing. I would think it'd have to be part of the setup, maybe the B team or something like that, or maybe just in the sidelines of the first team, because he's done so much in the game and with Celtic, I think he'd be wasted doing that. I know the kids in the under 18s would really look up to him and all that kind of stuff, but I think he's got bigger things.
Yeah, than that. Absolutely. Well, he's certainly got a lot to offer, and I don't want to go into the debate of whether it was a dramatic failure at Aberdeen or not. He just wants the coaching. That's what he wants to do.
And you know what, Jim Goodwin, like any other managers, get in there, and managers want to have their own guys with them, their own coaches with them, their own coaching techniques, their own way of doing things. So it wasn't a huge surprise. If Scott Brown hadn't been such a high-profile guy in Scottish football, if he'd just been a run-of-the-mill coach, it had gone up there with Stephen Glassend, you wouldn't even be talking about us.
Yeah, absolutely. Neil Lennon wants to bring in Gary Parker to be his assistant at Ammonia Nicosia. No surprise there. It was
too late to get sacked this afternoon.
Well, no, it's such a great line from Stephen Presley, was it? Don't pack your bags because...
Was it 5 managers and... No, was it 26 games? Oh, how's that? And fair play to Neil for taking on, getting a bit of sun on his back and all that. But that's just bonkers, 5 managers.
So is the wedge. So
right.
is the money.
Well,
the money's bonkers. But the only thing I would say to you, and I'm not like being unbelievably negative about it, but Ruffy, at times you have to fight for your money over there. You get bulleted, you've got a battle. I mean, I know a couple of players had to fight for their money in certain countries, and that one there is one of those ones where you're not afforded a lot of time.
No, well, you look at the stats, as Tam said there, a lot of the clubs over there, they mess about. It's the owners, the owners that own these clubs, they just want success right away. But the person who actually tries to sort out all these shenanigans of managers and players not being paid is a good friend of ours, Tony Higgins.
Yeah.
Tony's the man that goes into clubs when the players aren't being treated right, whether it's Africa or whatever.
Yeah. And Tony's back doing a lot of work with the PFA.
Yes, I didn't know that. No, but no, that was his job, and he was enjoying it. And but when you get 2.5 years at X amount of pounds, and you're out the game for so long, you just want to be involved.
He's one of the guys that I could sit on a night out with and listen to on a long, regular basis. One of Ruffy's pals, Tony Higgins, his teammate. Tony's a great lad. Good fun, Ruffy, isn't he?
Yeah, brilliant. Good times at Hibs. Could sit here and tell you hundreds of stories.
Cost me £350 one night. I must have told you that.
No, go on.
It was he'd been doing the old telly show that I did with me before it was done in front of an audience. And Tony was on, and just a laugh, I says, "What are you up to the rest of the day?" And it was a Monday, and he was going into do Scott Sport at night.
Yeah.
And I said, just for a laugh, I says, right, I'll give you £50 charity of choice. If somehow in Scott Sport tonight you can mention Willie Pettigrew, right? One of my ultimate heroes, So Tony did me half enter into the spirit. I'm sitting there at whatever 10:35, whatever time Scott Sport used to be on a Monday. And Tony just out an area, he's sitting there talking through the games with probably Jim Delahunt.
Yeah.
And I remember it was Henrik Larsson scored, and Tony right away said, "Oh, Henrik Larsson, a glancing header." Says, almost reminiscent there, a guy I played against a lot, Willie Pettigrew. Brilliant glint, and I thought, that's worth £50. But then he mentioned him, I kid you not, another 6 times in the show.
He got him into the show.
Just kept saying Willie Pettigrew all the time.
Yeah.
So 7 times in total, and I had to play fair, £350 went to the charity of Tony's choice.
Well done to you. I know that it must have been Scott Sport must have been the place for it, because I know that you had given McCoist a word that you just never would have got into. Never got it into football chat, and fair play to him. He actually managed to just get it in there, and the place was absolutely howling with laughter when he got it in.
Arthur Montford had a good one with Tony Higgins and Andy Ritchie. He was commentating on a game, and there's Tony Higgins and Andy Ritchie going for a 50-50. Oh, that'll take ages for that hole to be fixed in the ground. The two of them have collided into each other.
This is another little topic that I'm going to get your thoughts on, guys, before we finish tonight. And I will show you 2 quick things. First one is Chelsea fans must be quaking in their boots, because suddenly we have sanctions, and basically they can pay staff wages, dividends to directors, travelling expenses, match day operating costs, but they've been banned from buying players, renewing contracts. So there's a whole wad of players that are now, they won't be able to re-sign them. I think there's difficult times ahead for Chelsea, and they can't sell the club.
Absolutely. Although, when you see what else is happening, if you like, involved with this story, then football never seems all that important, of course. But this is massive. But there's not many people saying that. When you start getting football involved in this, folks say football and politics shouldn't mix.
Yeah.
But this is maybe yet another way for making more folk stand up and look at this whole situation, because somebody put it to me the other day that they reckon it might be the young team in Russia who actually get through to Putin, because if suddenly internet, smartphones, Google, Instagram, everything, if all of that kind of stuff starts closing in, and if it's they don't have the same freedoms as the one said, then you reckon that a lot of people, they might make their voices heard, but it's a strange old tale, this, and this is just one of the side shows, if you like, with Abramovich at Chelsea, but goodness knows what's going to happen,
Yeah, it's got a few twists and turns ahead, but there's more sanctions on the way. Don't want to get into the political aspect of it, but it does mix with sport, sadly, and sometimes it needs to mix with sport as well. Just to quickly throw that caveat in before somebody jumps all over the top of my head. Let's look at the other Europa League fixtures just before we go, Ruffy, that are on offer tonight, as well as Rangers Red Star Belgrade. As you can see, there's Braga, Monaco, Porto, Lyon, Atalanta, Leverkusen, Seville, West Ham, and I think the fans are fighting there, which is not a good thing. Barcelona, Galatasaray, Leipzig, and I think it's Leipzig against Real Betis. So there's all the fixtures there, and there are some really good teams in there that you can see that Rangers, if they get past Red Star Belgrade,
is it just on names in the hat for the next round?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be really exciting to see.
If you're just sitting here, if I was a Rangers fan, you think, right, let's beat Red Star Belgrade and let's get Barcelona. You know, because if you're not, unless if you're overconfident, maybe you think about you're already looking at winning the tournament because you have knocked out the favourites, then fair enough. But you just want that glamour, and even though Barcelona are not what they were clearly, although I must say, hey, when I did watch the game last night, I know you weren't really going to spend much time. I only saw the last 20 minutes, but I think that was the best bit of the game.
Yeah.
The Real Madrid PSG, it was absolutely brilliant. It was edge of your seat stuff. But seeing that 20 minutes that I watched, Peter, I don't think I saw Messi almost touching the ball.
No,
he had one free kick that he put over the bar, right? But is he done? What's happened?
Well,
every time you used to tune in, you just see him with the ball at his feet and he'd be running the show.
But the point that you're making there, Tam, is it's levels, Ruffy. I mean, I don't know. I think Ronaldo at Manchester United has had a kind of a rough time. Some of the press, the coverage of it. Do they want him to do 35 overhead kicks, single-handedly win the game for Manchester United when he's surrounded by quite a lot of duds? To be honest with you, people who are overpaid, some of them petulant, some that shouldn't be wearing a Manchester United shirt. They're looking at him. Paris Saint-Germain was more out of necessity to get out of Barcelona, who were hemorrhaging money and couldn't really afford to pay him all the money he was owed in the contract. So, now they're talking about, as Tam mentioned there, he hasn't created, in games against Real Madrid in the last 9 games. This is a guy whose stats are just off the board. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's the expectation when you see somebody at another club and they go to another one, and as Tam said there, he's not as good as what he was with Barcelona, but there's a lot of things you've got to take into consideration. It's a different style of play, the players are different, and sometimes he would be saying to himself, well, this hasn't really worked for me. He'd obviously went there thinking it was another European Cup final he was going to be in, and obviously it's not the case.
It just seems so strange though. See how in a way they'll put up the stats for the possession with the clubs. I would have loved to have known personal possession that Messi enjoyed last night in that last 20 minutes compared to any other game that I've watched him in, because he just never seemed to get a touch at all. But I'll tell you who was remarkable while you were watching all the glorious action at Dens Park, Dundee against St Mirren. Luka Modric, who, of course, the scourge of the Scots last summer, that fantastic goal he scored against us. But last night, again, brilliant, 36 now. And the pass, you see the pass that he put through for the second goal?
It was unbelievable.
Absolutely exquisite. A genius. You could watch him all night.
It was a great game, Ruffy. I mean, Paris Saint-Germain, what happened, Ruffy? You're out of it completely.
Again, stupid goalkeeper.
Is it the keeper's fault? Yeah.
Well, we spoke about our goalkeepers the other day there, having a world-class goalkeeper and somebody, and he is a world-class goalkeeper.
Yeah. Everybody makes mistakes, Ruffy.
That's what we said on the show. Even the big ones make mistakes, so he made a mistake. And
so did the back line. How can you lose a ball from the centre and then lose the goal immediately? Yeah. It's ridiculous.
I know, but he started it.
And yet again,
the first goal was always an important one.
Yeah.
The reason, and it goes back to the game tonight, I will go out and watch it. I hope the Scottish team wins, but it's still the first leg. Whereas when you watch that game last night, the second leg, where everything hinges on it last night, then that's what just gives it that wee extra bit of tastiness, But I still wish the European ties were just one leg, spin of the coin. And if your luck's in, you get the home tie.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the results from last night. Ruffy's team now out of the competition. So Bayern Munich 7-1, unbelievable. Look, Liverpool are through. I'm still in it, Ruffy. I've got still interest in it. Man City through as well, and then Real Madrid 3-1 against Paris Saint-Germain. So Ruffy, you'll just have to sit as it's a bystander now. You'll just have to look on with great interest at who's going to win it. I think Liverpool can win it.
No,
Is this the season for Man City?
No, I don't think so.
No. Tam, what about yourself?
again, for what I've got a wee feeling for Liverpool. I have.
Yeah.
I have.
Well done, Tom. Excellent. Okay, £9.99.
Well.
I thought I was going to get.
Is it going up?
I thought I was going to get 40 quid for it, but Tom he had the chance there and he drew back from it, to be perfectly honest with you. Thanks to everybody who mentioned there. Peter, Leipzig have a walkover because Moscow are out of the programme. Thanks for that, Brian. Just as we were looking at the fixtures there for the Europa League. That's part of what we're talking about, politics and football, and teams that are banned, rightly so, from European competition, whether it be the European games or indeed the internationals as well. So thanks very much to quite a few people who've sent us messages. If you get a chance, don't forget to hit the subscribe on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. Thank you to the thousands of people who are doing that. We're growing now as people now realise we are actually on Monday to Friday on YouTube exclusively now, which is great. And also the people who are downloading the app, fantastic, because you can watch the programme live on the app as well. It's been great. Thousands of people. And another one here I'm going to read out, because we can take it. We can take criticism, Ruffy, and we can also take getting a kicking, because there is indeed still an element of banter that you like, rather than being abusive.
So who's getting us a kicking? Go for it.
The real DPG says.
The real DPG. The real anonymous guy.
Absolutely. That legislation's coming. They'll all have to put their names in shortly, which is brilliant. But he says, Peter, I'm interested to know who is the heaviest person on the sofa tonight.
I can tell you, I'm 16.4.
16.4, right. Yeah. So you're heavier than me.
I'm about 16 and a half.
At the moment, I'm 16. You need to.
Are you?
Yeah.
I wasn't always this weight.
We need to.
I used to be £8 3 ounces.
We need to get back out, Ruffy.
Well,
you picked your partners today, didn't you?
Shift today, good tennis game today.
That was an
hour and a half we were playing this.
I know. Well, I was running for an hour and a half.
A games console you play. Can you keep on about the tennis?
You need to come down and see the level we play at. It's just the physicalness, the athleticism.
Absolutely.
No, I had a shot at a couple of years ago, and it was almost like a boyhood dream. I can't mind the reason for it. It was down at the Merchant City area in Glasgow, and it was some promotional thing. And I was with the Scottish Sun at the time, and I was doing it. But I got a shot at returning serve, if you like, for one of them machines.
Oh,
I've never seen them in the telly. You know, they just fire the balls out.
Yeah.
That was brilliant fun.
I was going to buy one of them, and then I thought twice about it. You know how much they are?
How much?
Take a guess.
They are £3,999.
Not a bad shout, by the way. They're £2,000.
Are they?
£2,000. You may as well just get in a game with somebody that you like.
It's a murder when you start throwing your racket at it.
Oh, I'm running out of. Listen, I'm running out of rackets, but that's the joy of it all. Thanks to the many people on the feed who are sensible and are talking about football. We do try, and I always mention to people, we do try and ban the idiots, and we will continue to do so because most of the people who join our football family are people who love their club. They love talking about their players. And all of that, whether it's domestic football, European, or indeed world football. So thanks to each and every one of you for joining us. I enjoyed Tam's crack today, magnificent. Join us tomorrow on the programme. We'll be conducting the Scottish Junior Cup, sponsored by a new sponsor tomorrow. I'm not going to tell you who it is because that's for tomorrow, but there's a new sponsor of the Scottish Junior Cup. Tam and I will be involved in the draw for the semi-finals. Over the weekend, the quarter-finals are being played. So join us if you can on tomorrow's programme for that, if you're a fan of junior football. And we'll also have the managers talking about the Scottish Cup quarter-final ties over the weekend, involving all the Premiership sides. And over and above that, we will reflect on tonight, where hopefully Rangers can get a positive result against Red Star.
Who's on tomorrow?
It's Charlie. His hamstring's getting better. Charlie Adam will join us with Ruffy and Tam McManus, and you'll be here for the draw as well. So it's
a good draw.
It will be a good draw, Tam. Thanks for coming
home tie.
Yeah, thanks for coming in twice in the week, which it just cost us a fair bit. Anyway, apart from that, thanks to Tam, thanks to Ruffy, and thanks to you for watching.